Becky here, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here. Today is going to be a just kind of quick overview video of foundation paper piecing, also known as FPP. So I'm not going to teach you how to do it in this video. I will have another video where I kind of go over some tips and tricks on how to be successful doing a foundation paper piecing project. I'm going to refer to it as FPP from here on out, just so you know. But what FPP is it is a form of quilting using paper. And so what that means is you're going to have a template printed out on paper, and you're going to put your pieces together following a certain order on that paper and on that template, and you sew it down, and then you do your next piece and sew it down and just keep continuing until you fill it up. And the benefits of FPP are that it's relatively beginner friendly, depending on the project. Now you can do some it's just like a 10-inch block, and there's even some quilts where it's like the whole quilt is done through FPP, and I'll pop up some pictures of it. And what is so beneficial about FPP is it helps you be able to create basically images that would be really hard to do through just basic quilting techniques and sewing techniques, and helps get those pieces done. So really what I see FPP as is a way to create artwork and murals through sewing. Now there's a lot more to it than that, but that's kind of the general idea of it. Now, you know, I'm not saying that quilting and those basic things aren't a piece of art, but it allows you to basically put an image into fabric and sew it together to create that image. Now, I would say kind of like a 10-inch block is easier. If you get real small, it can get really hard and finicky when you're first beginning, and then obviously something real on a really big scale could be really hard. And then the fewer sections in each piece is going to make it more simple. So I'll just show you. This was actually the very first FPP project I did. Let me scoot up here. And it's a garden shovel. And this was actually through, if you've been in the FPP world at all, you probably know Liza Taylor, and she has a membership where every month she releases some blocks. And this was one. I'm no longer a member just because I didn't feel like I was able to use all the patterns and things like that as they came out, and so it wasn't really beneficial to me. I'm not really a subscription person. I'm more of a, when I want to find exactly what I want and then sew it up, not a subscription that's kind of a surprise and say, here you go, this is what you get, you like it or not. So I think it's a great place to start if you are looking just to start. She has patterns and things like that, but just like I said, I'm just not a big subscription person. So this one, you can kind of see so how FPP works is they take an image and then they break it down into sections, and then you sew each of those sections in a certain order, and then you attach those sections in a certain order as well. So here, the head of the shovel was one section, and then this was another section, and then the shovel was a bottom section. And the FPP really allows you to get really nice points and be very exact when sewing. Here's the back of it, just kind of for reference. And so what you do is you sew on top of the paper, and then when you're done, you rip all of the paper out for your creation. So this is the next one that I'm going to be doing, and it's actually what I'll be doing when I kind of do the video of showing you how to do it. And it is this beanie block here, and it's really cute. I'm going to be making this for my brother as a late Christmas present. We're already in January, and I haven't gotten done for him, but that's okay. He's happy waiting. And I don't want to give too much away, but here I'll just kind of do half of it. You can kind of see how it's split up, and there's different sections and things like that. And then down here it says your sewing order. So this one has A through F section, so that's A, B, C, D, E, F, so 6 sections that you sew and then you hook them together, and then it shows you the order that you do it. It also has an 8-inch block, a 10-inch block, and a 14-inch block, and that's pretty common with FPP patterns, that there's a couple different sizes. You also can increase the size a little bit if you want. But one thing I will say, typically with FPP patterns, they usually don't include instructions to do it. It just expects you to know how to do it. But once you know how to do it, it's the same for every pattern. You just follow the letters and the numbers and go through there. So you do need to learn how to read an FPP pattern and how to do it, which again, I will get into that in a different video. And then what you're gonna do is you're gonna print off your pattern. And I like to use, it's called newspaper paper, I guess is what it is. I'll put a link to it down below. It's a little bit thinner than basic paper. There is also specific FPP paper. It is a little bit pricey, and I honestly don't know how it compares to this. It might be a little bit thinner, but I do like this because it's not too thin where if you mess up and have to take it out, that your paper is torn and ripped and you can't use it. Where like, but it's easy enough, it's light enough that you can easily rip it out of your pattern. Where like regular printer paper, it is a little bit more thick and it can be a little bit harder to pull out, which is why I like this, and it is cheaper. So when you put it in your computer and print it off, this pattern is actually already color coded, and my brother liked the colors on it, so I am just using the colors as pretty close to what is written in the pattern. So these are the pattern pieces, and you can see here how they're color coded. They're not always color coded. Sometimes they leave that up to you to decide on those colors. But these are all of these sections, and then like I said, you're gonna cut them out. You'll cut out each one, and then you'll sew each one, and then you'll sew them together, and then you rip the paper off. So the biggest things when you're starting foundation paper piecing is, one, to learn how to do it, and make sure you watch videos, do things like that. Liza Taylor's membership has great videos on it. There's also lots of other videos, and like I said, I'll put out one here that will help. And sometimes it's just finding the right video and right explanation to help you, that works for you and your learning style. So what you're going to need for FPP is you're going to need paper, you're going to need a printer, and then you're going to need your fabric pieces. And these are great for scraps because you just need to cut out pieces of it. You're going to want, typically if you have a rotary cutter and a cutting mat, that does help. It's not required. You can use scissors, and then you are going to want to have an iron and an ironing board or an ironing mat set up as you do your pattern. And a couple tips that you're going to want is that to really figure out what colors you want, sit down, color code it, make sure you know what pieces go with what color before you start. And then when you sew, you're going to want to shorten your stitch length to about a 1 because that is what's going to perforate your paper and make it easy to pull off. So I love doing FPP. I think it's so fun. There's so many out there, and like I said, I mean, there are some amazing pieces of art created through FPP that just like almost mind-blowing to even like realize that it's done through a sewing machine and fabric. And there's also some simpler ones, and an FPP block can be used, just the block, for so many different things. Whatever you want, you can put it on a bag, you can add it into a quilt, you can make a quilt out of a bunch of different ones. There are quilts that are, like I said, there is a whole quilts done with it. There's also quilts done with just all different blocks using FPP. You can put it on a bag, you can basically do whatever you want with it. You can hang it up, make artwork out of it. I haven't done them yet, but I'm planning to make some really cute like sewing ones and frame them and hang them up over my sewing machines. This beanie one that I'm making for my brother, I'm going to put it on a sweatshirt for him. He's a big skier and lives out in Utah, so that's what I'm doing with that one. You know, those quilted sweatshirts are all the rage, so that's another way to do those fun quilted sweatshirts, and you can make them like holiday themed. You know, you could do a nutcracker, you could do hearts of letters, all kinds of things. Really the possibilities with FPP are endless. So I know that might have been a lot of information, but really in general, that's all that it is. It's basically just a quilting technique that allows you to be more precise and more detailed, and it's really fun to do. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I will say there is also English paper piecing, which is kind of a whole different thing, and I'm not going to get into that here, and it's different methods and things like that. It's also another method used for creating quilts and unique styles and things like that that are hard to achieve with just a basic pattern. But I hope that this video was helpful, introducing you to FPP and kind of giving you an idea if you would like it, how to get started. I will link a couple resources down below if you want to check them out, and then I will get to filming a tutorial for how to do FPP. It will be a pretty basic one, but really that's all you need to start. So make sure you subscribe to my channel so that you're notified when I release that video, and you can start scouring the internet for your first FPP pattern that you want to take on. So thanks for watching. Bye.